Deep within the canyon walls, trapped 12 feet below the surface, a man was waiting for the final moments of his life. For the last 100 hours, he had been alone inside the Canyonlands National Park in Utah, pinned by a 360-kilogram boulder crushing his right arm. In this desolate wilderness, there was no one to hear his screams and no way to call for help. After 5 days of struggling to survive, he finally picked up his camera with his free hand and began recording his last words, hoping that the world would one day know what had happened to him in the narrow Blue John Canyon. This man was Aron Ralston, born October 27, 1975, in Marion, Ohio. At just 12 years old, Aron discovered his love for outdoor adventure, joining skiing and backpacking trips during school. That passion only grew with time. Soon he was rafting, climbing, and hiking at every opportunity. So deep was his love for adventure that Aron eventually quit his stable 9-to-5 job to dedicate his life to the outdoors. He moved to Aspen, Colorado, a small resort town surrounded by rugged mountains and snowy peaks, a paradise for climbers and mountaineers. Even before quitting, Aron had set 3 ambitious climbing goals for himself: to climb all 59 of Colorado's peaks higher than 14,000 feet, the 14ers. To summit all of them in the harsh winter season, setting a world record, to climb the highest peak in every U.S. state. By the end of 2002, Aron had already conquered 36 of the 14ers in winter. After leaving his job, he believed he could complete the record, but his risky solo adventures often worried his friends. On one such occasion, when a planned group trip fell apart, Aron decided to go exploring on his own. That decision took him to Utah. With no fixed plan and not even telling his friends exactly where he was headed, Aron drove toward Canyonlands National Park. His destination, the remote and little-known Blue John Canyon, a narrow slot canyon with sheer rock walls hidden deep within a vast desert landscape. On Saturday, April the 26th, 2003, Aron arrived early in the morning. He parked his truck miles away, mounted his bike, and cycled to the canyon entrance. From there, with only minimal supplies, 2 burritos, 4 liters of water, and some basic climbing gear, he began his hike. By the afternoon, he had descended deep inside the slot canyon. As he carefully climbed down past wedged boulders, one massive rock suddenly shifted. Before he could react, the half-ton boulder rolled and pinned his right arm against the canyon wall. The pain was excruciating. He screamed for help, but no one could hear him. Hours passed. He tried chipping away at the rock with his dull multi-tool knife. He rigged ropes to make a pulley system, attempting to lift the boulder. But nothing worked. By the end of the first day, he realized escape would not be easy. With no cell phone, no way to contact anyone, and only limited water, his situation grew dire. Each night was colder, each day hotter, and his strength slowly faded. Aron rationed what little water he had, even forcing himself to drink his own urine to stay alive. As time dragged on, he began filming farewell messages to his family, his voice trembling as he held back tears. By the 5th day, Aron was hallucinating from dehydration and exhaustion. In one dream, he saw a small boy reaching out to him, his future son. In the dream, Aron noticed that his right arm was missing. When he woke, he realized it was a sign. To survive, he would have to amputate his arm. It was a terrifying thought, but his arm was already dead tissue. The knife couldn't cut through bone, so Aron came up with a desperate plan. Using the rock as leverage, he snapped both bones in his arm with sheer force. Then, with his dull knife, he cut through the remaining flesh. Bleeding and weak, but finally free, Aron climbed out of the canyon using only one hand. After hours of staggering through the desert, he encountered a family on a hike who gave him food, water, and called for help. 127 hours after he first became trapped, Aron Ralston was rescued by helicopter. He had lost 40 pounds in weight and a quarter of his blood supply. Later, a recovery team used hydraulic equipment to finally move the massive boulder and retrieve what remained of his arm. But this was not the end of Aron's story. Within months, he returned to climbing, fitted with a prosthetic arm. He went on to complete all of Colorado's 14ers in winter, becoming the first person ever to do so. Aron's survival story inspired millions. His autobiography Between a Rock and a Hard Place became a bestseller, and in 2010, his ordeal was adapted into the Oscar-nominated film 127 Hours. The film's harrowing arm amputation scene was so realistic that many viewers fainted in theaters. In 2020, Aron welcomed the birth of his first child, the same son he had seen in his vision while trapped in the canyon years earlier. Today, Aron continues to climb, inspire, and work as a motivational speaker. As he often says in his talks, "I lost my arm, but I gained my life back."